YouTube. I'm checking back in with you. I know it's probably a little bit longer or a little bit more delayed than anticipated. My next video was supposed to have been an unboxing, but due to the time that I received it yesterday, I had to quickly get home and actually try to do a first test flight before it got dark, being that you cannot fly after dark. So I was able, as you can tell, to get a little bit of video. I was able to capture a few things there on the front end, kind of showing it, but again, not to show you things that you've already seen. You've already seen an unboxing, and as you know, if you've been following my channel, I actually ordered the Pro Kit. So I did the Pro Kit upgrade with my device, with my Skydio, and that's the route that I chose to take. Well, in that process, I know, as you well know by now, some are receiving drones, some are receiving accessories, and that is kind of where we're at. Well, in my circumstance, I received only my drone, and then also two of the charging cables. Ordered extra charging cables to go with the dual battery charger, so that way I'd make sure I'd be able to charge all 4 batteries at the same time. So that was my thought process with that. So I was able to get the chargers, but just the chargers in the drone. So I actually have no beacon. I actually have no controller either. So I know in my first video that I posted last night, Believe the Hype, I know there's been kind of mixed reviews, mostly positive, but there's some that just like you're not pushing it so hard, and you're not really testing the device, and I get that. I know people want to see some of the more exciting videos or what have you, but my challenge to you is this: you put your $1,000 down, you put that in follow me mode and drive off. You do it. You know, when yours comes in or whatever, you do it. That was the very first flight that I had with the drone, so I was able to do a little bit of testing, again only with the phone. So the flights are, or the flight that I had with that is not fast. I know that it's slated to go 36 miles an hour, but when flying with the phone, the distance is very short. I can't fly out too far, so I've noticed that before it starts breaking out, and then it forces the return to home to activate. So I've not been able to push it. I've not been able to push it like I've seen some of the others. Again, not having the beacon, I was very careful and driving very slow, so I wasn't going to try to just drive off and leave it. Not sure exactly how it would react to only having the phone, or even if the phone has any connection to it, if it's just following the truck, because that's what I set for it to follow. So I didn't want to push it too much. You put your money down and you start trying these things out, it's a little bit different. It's a different world. That is the first time that I've attempted a follow me mode type flight with any drone that I've had, and so also this is my first non-DJI drone. I've had several of the DJI components drones, and I'm so familiar with that ecosystem that this is absolutely a learning curve for me. So if it appears that I'm not pushing the envelope, I'm not. I'm taking it slow and I'm learning it. I want to get the most out of the device without pushing it. I'm not trying to crash the drone. I'm not trying to prove a point. Also, being a Part 107 holder, certificated holder, you got to stay within the guidelines of the law and the registration regulations that we have. So that just needs to be understood, kind of up front, where I'm coming from to explain it. I've had several people say things about it, and I've had several people say the Mavic 2 Pro can do that. Maybe it can. I've never tried it. Not too interested in trying that, but and to be honest with you, I've not seen a lot of videos that display that. I've not seen a lot of follow me mode or tracking. I know they're out there. I don't really watch those myself. That's not a point that I'm interested in. I'm more so using it for real estate, more trying to get cinematic type photos, and that I'm in video, so I'm kind of waiting to see how that's going to work. So anxiously awaiting a beacon or the controllers more specifically, because I want to see how that's going to change things, or how that's going to work for me. So for those that are trying to compare the Mavic 2 Pro, the Mavic line, versus the versus what we have going on here with the Skydio 2. I just want you to know up front, it's two completely different devices, two different things that's going on here. As you've probably heard from other reviewers, it's very hard to compare the two, and I find that myself, and that's why I'm not really trying to do that. I want to see the Skydio for what it is, independently. I think the technology that I've been able to see so far that's packed into this little drone, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, it's a well built device, very solid, very compact. Actually, probably just a touch smaller than what I thought that it would when it arrived in the packaging. I thought, wow, is that it? Is that everything in there? Because when you have the small case, and again, I know that most of you have seen these, but just to see this small case, I mean, as you can tell, it's very compact. So it's easy to maneuver and get around. Again, I'm waiting for the Pro Kit to arrive with the extra batteries, the beacon controller, all those things there. But for me personally, I didn't buy this for a follow me drone pointedly. That wasn't my most specific use. I think I can see some places where it would be good to have that, to add that into some of my promotional videos, maybe even a wedding video if you want to use it to follow in maybe the bride and groom or what have you, if they're doing a carriage ride or doing some of these things where it's not actually during the wedding, not to interrupt it. But if you wanted to make some more cinematic views, I think that you can absolutely use this drone for that. So I'm just kind of looking at it that way as well. And you know, I'm very used to flying at night, I do have my daylight waiver. So one of the things, after looking at it and putting more thought into it, there are no direct strobes on here. You have the blue light to the rear of the drone, and then you have the two there at the front, but not as you would have the red and the green that you're most used to if you use the DJI drones and what have you. Also, I actually run the Firehouse Technology lighting kit on my night drones, my Phantom, the Matrice 210, anything that I use at night. I do have those now. The Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual that we use at the office, it does have the strobe on top already that you can use. But in wondering about this, I know it's not important right now, but in the future, if night flight is enabled, I wonder if the addition of strobes is actually going to mess with those cameras, if that's going to mess that up. And I'm sure Skydio is actually looking into it. I've not talked to them about it or anything like that, but not trying to put the cart before the horse, but just kind of thinking about some specifics and some details as we move forward. Just to keep it short and to the point, you saw my short video. If not, you can watch Believe the Hype. I know some people are like, what are you talking about? Well, for me, that was a big deal. I have never set a device to follow me, got into a vehicle, and drove off. The drone had not even been home yet. I hadn't even got home from work yet, and I tested it at our a local county school that's right below where I live, and so it's a nice open place to kind of try some things out. County owned, it's not part of the state or federal, so you don't have to worry about the FAA regulations as far as that goes or anything. A legal place to fly, no one was around. But also to be able to test that out for the first time and drive off, I mean, that was a new experience to me. So yeah, I mean, to me, that was impressive. I wasn't going fast or anything like that, wasn't around people or other vehicles, but for me it was a new experience. So I thought, man, that is great, that's amazing. And to see it avoid the obstacles, that was something that was just beautifully, because I've seen close calls before with other drones and how the obstacle avoidance, will come to a stop. This finds a way to maneuver around, and it was not that it was so smooth or cinematic, but it was still usable footage. Absolutely for vlogging. I think if you are careful in planning your shots out right and places that you've been before and do a few test runs, I think that you can get some very usable footage for promotional work as well. So I'm very interested to see how the app's firmware comes along. The lack of telemetry, I mean, that is it's just completely different than what I am used to in flying. You really have to watch what you're doing. you know, maintaining your 400 AGL ceiling and some of those things there. You not knowing how fast you're going or the distance traveled. Of course, line of sight is, you know, what you have to keep anyway. But some very interesting things. I'm probably not touched on too many things that you haven't already thought of, or some of the early adopters after receiving their drones. I know that there's been several that have actually come back out on YouTube and explained a few things, but this is my thoughts because I told you, you know, what I planned to do was an unboxing from the very start. My plans of going after the Pro Kit, which we did, and I was hoping to be able to do a complete Pro Kit unboxing. So what I'm doing in lieu of that is just a partial. A lot of it's what you've already seen, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time with that, but kind of let you see the unboxing there at the office yesterday. I was very excited once it came in. Do that and just give you an update where I'm at. So I'm waiting to hear from Skydio. We're waiting to receive that email that the rest of my order is shipped, and I am excited about doing the rest of the unboxing of the Pro Kit and kind of showing you what's going on there. I know there's a lot of positive and a lot of negative talk that's been going on YouTube, and for me, I am taking it as a new experience, a learning experience, and waiting to see how Skydio responds to the updates, to the feedback that has been given thus far. So for those that haven't received the drone just yet, I know it's very, very hard to wait. I get impatient, as you've seen me explain in some other videos, but I think patience will win out on this. I really do. Some of these things that are in question now, if they can be fixed or corrected before some folks actually receive their device with maybe some updated firmware, what have you, I think it'll be a more complete device for you. So I know we want it, and we want it now, but that's kind of something to consider there. Hoping for the best with what's to come. Trying to just do the testing that I can, just plain testing with the device itself and with the phone app. That's kind of what I'm doing right now, waiting to see what it will be. It looks like maybe it'll be a progression for me, so I feel like I'm maybe just a tad behind the curve after some of the things that most people have already posted on YouTube that you've already seen, but I'm trying to learn a new device myself, so anything that you might have questions of for me, please go ahead and ask, and I'll try to answer those questions for you. The update, firmware update that it was pushed out to the early users, mine was already updated upon my arrival to me, so that was had already taken place. So again, any questions you have for me, we'll keep this short. Go ahead and comment down below, and we'll look to talk to you soon. See you.